Shalom, welcome to Rabbi Rock. I am Rabbi Shaul Praver, and I have the distinguished pleasure of introducing now Walid Shoebat, a former terrorist that has now become a advocate for Israel and for world peace, I'd say. So, Walid, shalom.
Boker Tov, shalom.
It's great to have you here. Boker Or.
Nice to talk to you.
Tell us about how you grew up as a child in Bethlehem.
Growing up as a child, I grew up in Jericho, actually. My father was stationed in Jericho, was born in Bethlehem. Okay. He was moved to Jericho to teach in the refugee camp, Aqba Jabal refugee camp. And I recall going to kindergarten in the morning, singing Arabs are beloved and Jews are dogs as a song in the morning. You know.
How did that song go?
El-Arab ihbabna wal-Yahud klabna. So Arabs are beloved and Jews are dogs, right at the kindergarten age, you know, right at a young age. Didn't know what the word Jew meant at all, you know. But the brainwashing of being anti-Semitic was way before these problems even.
Wow.
Right from a young age, that you should understand that the Jews are different, that the Jews are dogs, the Jews are not as equal as we are. So didn't know what a Jew meant. I remember even taking a field trip at a young age from Jericho before the 6 Days War.
Yes.
Going to Israel proper. And I remember for the first time I saw a train in Israel. And we got on the train. It was amazing. It was the most amazing thing. I can never forget it. And then we went to the beach there. And there at the beach, they had this dock where people ate breakfast outside, sitting outside. I remember a Jewish lady came and she was talking to my sister, my older sister, and she gave her a sandwich. She said, "Would you like to have something to eat?" And she gave my sisters the sandwich. As soon as the lady left, instantly the teachers, there was a whole school on this trip, a whole busload. The women came and my father came and they took the sandwich from my sister's hand and they threw it in the water from the dock down at the water.
How old were you when this?
I was almost 6 years old, and I remember that scene. I said, "Why did you throw the sandwich in the water?" Is you never take things from Jews because Jews will poison you. You know, they put poison in the food, and we had this idea, this aura about the Jews that they kill Arabs and things like that. So I remember even for the first time I saw an older man selling what they called challah bread on the street.
Yes.
And it was the braided bread.
Yes, yes.
So he was selling this challah. I remember the teachers, the women, I remember even their names. Fatima was one of the names of the teachers. The colleagues of my father in the school. And they were there looking down at this guy and making such gestures and jokes and remarks, you know. Look at him, look at these weird hair, look at how he looks, look how filthy he is. Look, I mean, all kinds of, I remember as a child looking at this and looking at the old man, you know, poor guy selling challah, and while they were mocking him in such a fashion, degrading him in such a fashion, I remember feeling bad. I never forgot that. I felt so bad. I felt so sorry for the old man. You know.
8'6".
8'6", you know, I said, why are they treating this old man this way? He's just trying to earn a living. He was selling challah on the street. And so I started learning right at a young age the truth about anti-Semitism. That we hated the Jews. The whole system is imbued with hatred. But yet still, we lived in somewhat relative peace and harmony, you know, where Jews would come after the 6 Days War to the land, and they would go to our stores and our shops. We wanted business. We wanted they brought profits. They brought income. So we welcomed the Jewish, shoppers.
How and when were you conscripted into the PLO?
You were jumping to when I was 16. You know, so going to school basically. How? First, you have to have that education. You have to have that upbringing on hatred. And the promotion of hatred comes from all institutions, comes from the religious institution, the education system, the media. I remember we used to get the media from Egypt, the Voice of Palestine.
Yes.
Okay, now the Arab media, the Jordanian media, the Syrian media was bad already, but the Voice of Palestine was the worst kind because it's calling kids to blow up everything they can see, bomb the Israelis, kill them. The songs, I memorized all the Palestinian songs. from the Voice of Palestine, what they call the Voice of Palestine. So they started planting cells to plant bombs in Israel. So I ended up from demonstrating near lynching an Israeli, ended up in prison, and then ended up being recruited in by the PLO to plant my first bomb operation and to blow up a bank an Israeli bank in Bethlehem.
Okay, that was Bank Leumi.
Bank Leumi, Israel.
And
yes.
that bomb you discovered would have blown you up as well had you not.
My instructions was to put it to stand there in front of the bank, put it in the garbage can or something like that in front of the bank.
Yes.
At 6 p.m.
Yes.
And I remember 5 to 6, I saw some Arab children walking around in front of the bank because it's an Arab area.
Yes.
So I decided in the last minute to put it on the roof, to throw it on the roof, hoping that the roof would collapse and
kill as many people as possible.
And do whatever.
Did the roof collapse when you threw it on?
No, it didn't collapse. But I heard the explosion as I was walking away. 6 p.m. I reached to the Nativity Church, and I've seen the explosion behind me with this big dust of black smoke.
All right. So you
I
didn't
realized,
really succeed. You didn't really kill any Jews.
Yes, but I realized that if I had been there, I'd been a suicide bomber.
Yeah, but they didn't tell you that when it was going to explode. And let's see. What do you want to tell young Palestinian Arabic children today? What's your message to them?
Well, basically my message is not predominantly for the young Arab Palestinian children. It is for the American audience, for the American people here. I wish I can go to the prisons of Ramallah, the Muscovite prison in Jerusalem, all the prison systems, and talk to the Palestinian youth. That's a dream of mine. But it's difficult to get to these prisons under the control of the PA, the Palestinian Authority.
Yes.
They're not going to allow you to go into the prison system and talk to the Palestinians and go to the Israeli prison system. Israelis won't allow me because basically it becomes a religious issue and, you know.
But what if we get this show playing in Israel? What do you want to tell them?
What I would want to tell the Palestinian children is that there's a different way to live, that we need to look at the Israelis and look at the Jewish way of thinking and understand that they really value life. And we really have become in a culture that we really value death. Suicide, martyrdom is not going to take you to heaven. God is the God of love. And if God is not the God of love, He's not God. So we gotta view things differently. You have been brainwashed just as Hitler brainwashed Nazi youth. Suicide bombing and killing oneself and destroying yourselves is not a way of life.
What are some things that Arafat would not want us to know?
Would want Americans to know?
Yeah, that he would not.
Well, Arafat is famous when he speaks. This is how you can tell bad media from good media. In America, in the media, if Yasser Arafat is speaking, they show him speaking in English or have an English in translation for what he says. What we need to know about any leader, Arab leader in the Middle East, is to see his Arab speeches, what he says in Arabic to his people, versus what he says in English.
What are his most guarded secrets?
His most guarded secrets, his Swiss bank accounts. He gets funneled with money from the EU, from the United States, and all this money is hidden in Swiss bank accounts in which he has the booklet of all the different account numbers and it stays with him. He sleeps with it. Nobody else sees. This is his most guarded secret.
Did the Jews steal the land of Israel from the Arabs?
Did the Jews steal the land of Israel from the Arabs? Absolutely not. Like I said before, in a previous interview, even the father of the PLO, the founder of the PLO, Ahmed Shukeri, his father sold land to the Jewish National Fund. That most of these lands were bought by Jewish money, by blood and sweat. They bought it for double the price of land prices at that time. So the father of the PLO sold land to the Jewish National Fund. Hajj Amin al-Husseini, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, who was a friend of Adolf Hitler, also sold land to the Jewish National Fund. His name is Tahir al-Husseini. And you had many from a Nashashibi family. You had the mayors of Jerusalem. The Muslim Supreme Council sold land to the Jewish National Fund. So a lot of these lands were sold to the Jewish National Fund. There's never been an Arab presence in that land for over 100 years. For 3,000 years, the Arabs did not own that land for 100 years. The Ottoman Empire collapsed, and they deserved to collapse because they were against the West.